Yes, sir, we are live. You can start.
Good evening to you all. On behalf of Anajori, this is Kiran Keshumurthy. I welcome you to today's session on gender and sexuality. We look forward to listening to another very interesting speaker this week. Let me introduce you to Dr. Mukul Sharma. He completed his PhD and MPhil in English from the English and Foreign Languages University, Hyderabad, in 2012 and 2007, respectively. He's currently the HOD and Associate Professor of English in the English department at Bapuji College, Sarukshetri, Assam. He's a researcher, columnist, and poet on LGBTQ plus issues. He's also an LGBTQ plus rights activist and an experiential counselor, especially to those who are questioning LGBTQ plus youth. He runs a Facebook page called facebook.com/mukul.sharma.904, dedicated to the well-being of LGBTQ plus youth and LGBTQ plus awareness. He has W, a virtual gay club since 2012, and with Hokia, Homonoi, Anajori, and All Assam Transgender Association for promoting LGBTQ plus rights. His so we will actually have a kind of a conversation or an interaction today, and the topic of this interaction will be is life after Section 377, the LGBTQ plus movement and vital needs for LGBTQ plus youths of Assam. So again, I welcome you all to today's session. Mukul, thank you very much for being with us today. I hope you can hear me. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hearing you. Is my photo is visible properly there?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Okay,
Yes,
then, yeah.
yes, yes.
Because it's new for me, actually.
Yes, yes.
It's
So thank you for being here. So maybe we could just begin by asking you about, what has been your journey so far in terms of your own academic work, as well as your association with LGBTQ plus issues.
Yeah, thank you, Kiran. In the beginning, I have to thank all the people working on the anniversary, especially the Melinda, for giving me this opportunity to share my feelings and whatever I have done so far. As an academician, since 2012, I have been working for LGBT people. Especially since I'm an academician, I have to use my pen, and I decided after finishing my PhD in 2012 completely, then I decided that I have to raise issues of LGBT issues. And since I could not do it in my MPhil and PhD, that was haunting me during my research days. And then soon after the PhD, I've started writing in the Assam Tribune. What I found that there are anti-gay comments coming there in a prestigious newspaper like Assam Tribune. Then I thought that if it is something like that, what would happen to the other media? Because Tribune is considered the most prestigious and reputed here, not only in Assam, in entire Northeast. Since in our college, every institution access to this particular news media, that I targeted the news media and the Assam Tribune, and especially the creative writing. Through the creative writing, I have to raise it and my academic research. And I started writing in Assam Tribune and other issues as well as LGBT issues. In other issues like the skill development and handicrafts development, etc. They have published. Okay, my poem is also published, but they were reluctant on publishing my LGBT issues in 2012. Although I sent write-ups to them. Then in 2012 was the end of the 12. I started working for Glow directly. I started, face-to-face meetings were conducted in 2012, picnics, meetings, film shows, and even farewell kind of things were going on. Started there in Underglow, although it's informal underground kind of organization, still virtual kind of, but we met occasionally. And when for the first time I met LGBT people there, especially gay people of Assam, in under Glow, it was kind of a very pleasing moment for me, as if I developed completely. Because before that, in a mass gathering kind of thing, I did not have the opportunity to have. Although in Sifal or Iflu, Hyderabad, there it was my very dear friend Andy Silveria. He was started working for LGBT people and started organizing events. One of the events was just before the first event happened just before my PhD thesis submission, and it was impossible for me to attend. Although I was virtually I was connected with the organization since it happened from the CFL campus, IFLU campus. Anyway, after coming back to Assam, I got the opportunity. I was, everything I was knowing what is happening to the glue, how it was formed, because everything was happening, through the combination with myself through internet. And then when the first picnic happened, I thought that this is very, very important for the LGBT people, especially gay people, because there are lots of homophobia, self-homophobia, self-loathing, and discrimination apart. There are lots of stigma. People, face themselves. They feel it themselves, not the outside society. It's the within, the fear. And then I thought that I should continue this particular kind of thing, and I should raise the issues, because the main reason what I felt at that time, that it's a section 377, which is still under scrutiny of Supreme Court. At any moment, Supreme Court can recriminalize the gay sex. That was to a certain extent since 2009 through Delhi High Court. The nurse verdict came. When it came, it was decriminalized. And since 2019 9 last, and then GLUE was set up virtually, and we have started meeting there in Guwahati. It was the first gathering, kind of informal, although, but it is a first kind of thing happened. And then I thought that that I have to write regarding the LGBT welfare, and I started writing, sending to the Assam Tribune, because as a creative writer, I actually started writing in 2003 itself. Then after 2 years, I had to be busy with my MPhil and PhD. Then I stopped it, and then again in 12 I started. In 2013, suddenly, in a not in a sudden way, in 2013, people have still raising anti-gay issues in the Assam Tribune page, and it pained me. It created anguish to me. And then after an occasion in Glow, one of my dear friends, I cannot say his name because lots of people are hiding still, who are working under Glow. He raised this issue. One of the writers, columnist Nabanita Borua, in March 2013, she put forward a very anti-gay comment, saying that same-sex relationships are abhorrent. And then one of my friends, very close friends, he raised that issue in Assam Tribune through the name Nior Medi. And then Nior Medi, when he raised that issue, and I read it just after the glue happening, it inspired me a lot. That if it is the thing we have to do, we educated intellectual people do. And I stopped working for my PhD and MPhil area completely from 2013 last, and I was trying one by one, but they were not responding. But at the same time, they are publishing my other issues, not the LGBT issues. Then in 2013 December, to a certain extent, suddenly, shockingly, the Supreme Court recriminalized these acts, and it created a lot of anguish to me. And just after that recriminalization in 11 December, one of the writer, his name is Kailash Sharma. He wrote a letter, a headline letter, and he termed homosexual behavior is very uncommon to the Hindu religion and culture and the society, Indian society. He was telling all these things. And I was in the college when I saw this particular letter. And just after my class, I ran to the library and I sat there and wrote responding to his letter against those homophobic comments. And it was late. Even there was a marriage ceremony of our colleague. I could not attend on time. After sending the letter in the evening when I went, nobody from our college was there. I was alone. Anyway, I sent the letter. Next day, maybe, or day after, maybe 2 days. It is 16 December 2013. That letter, that the groundbreaking letter for me actually, that came in Assam Tribune as a headline letter. It was named as titled as Section 377 illogical, insensible. And I gave references from Hindu religion, three references, and saying that actually in Hindu religion, same-sex relationships are not only accepted, these are celebrated also. I gave the references of Ras festival that is very celebrated in favor and due fervor in my town, in Nalbari town. And in Ras festival, actually, my point was that in the Ras night, it was actually the same-sex love is celebrated because all the gopikas were trying to make love with Lord Krishna that night, were actually sages in their earlier birth, and male sages who fell in love to Lord Krishna, Lord Rama. And Lord Rama, saw their devotion and then told them that since it is not possible, because he was in exile at the time, since it is not possible in this birth, he will fulfill their desire in the next birth when he will be reborn as Krishna. And they were born as gopikas. And at that night when Lord Shiva was noticing all this thing happening, he was so stimulated kind of, or inspired kind of thing, that he came down in a disguise of gopika, and ultimately Lord Krishna and Lord Shiva were united. And that reference there, as well as I gave two other references, like reference of Sikhandi and Arjuna becoming a transgender. These three issues I have been repeating in every academic seminar afterwards. So in 2013, it started responding against the homophobic comment of someone, a columnist like um, uh, Mukul Sarma. Um, and then from 2013 itself, Assam Tribune have been publishing my ideas through letters, columns, as well as my gay poems, very obviously, delineating gay desire and love. And in 2014, my favorite gay poem came in Assam Tribune. Its name is came in 2014, May 2016. Its name is Buddha's Sunset. It is very important because I gave the reference of this particular poem in every academic seminar wherever I get chance so far. Um, Buddha's Sunset is actually a poem with obvious gay desire, because and lots of gay images are used, juxtaposing them with the beauty of our very dear the river Brahmaputra and other natural images. Few lines can I read it, recite it? Yeah. Buddha's sunset. By pulling off the orange clock, a barren lustrous god is simply blazing in this stimulating evening to indulge in a luxury bath with some leisurely dips in the mysterious golden water of the calm mystic river. And the god of night is eagerly getting ready, sprinkling perfumes of white flowers all over a dewy clean body, smooth and well defined. This desire, the gay desire, is not others. It's the poet desire itself, and it's a kind of autobiographical poem. Anyway, after that also, Tribune have been publishing several of my poems, and these are gay poems. How gay angles I have already discussed about these poems in my Facebook. These are available. Another favorite is a map of heart. It came in 2015. And then from 2013, my prose writes up with my ideas for the welfare of the LGBT people. It has been coming so far in the pages of Assam Tribune. Till 2018, my main motto, my main aim was to remove that section 377. Every letter has this particular angle. And Neor Mehdi was also writing in 2014. And what good thing, it's a movement. I say that it's a kind of movement we have started. Few writers like me, Niyomadi and Ashim Chakraborty, these three writers have raised the issue, and as well as the editor of the of Assam Tribune since 2013. We have been writing pro-gay comments and ideas putting forward through Assam Tribune. And after that, I noticed that since my letter came in 2013 December, so far no Assamese columnist has there to pass any anti-gay comment in the Assam Tribune. But of course, internationally there are anti-gay comments coming up, and I took the stand that I'll stand as a watchdog, and I objected regarding some anti-gay comments and happening internationally, like in 2000, uh, 2000 yeah, let me see, because it's a kind of research, I forget, yeah, in 2016, Jullah Mannan of Bangladesh, he's the editor of Ruban magazine, gay magazine. He was killed in 2016, and I raised the issue through through Assam Tribune, and it came. It was published, and after that, I wrote a poem also, and that was sent to Hukia's that time magazine. Uh, I think it's called. There is a magazine which was coming from Hukia, under Hukia, and that the magazine published it with my name. And one thing, I never hide my name, and I did not use any pseudonym so far while I was raising these issues. And my institutional affiliation also was given frequently. And that particular thing is happening so far, and till this year, 2019 October, a write-up came, article came from me, and deliberately I used lots of issues of gay people, like the erasing of homophobia and stigma. That are the main problems still creeping. I'll be talking about that, how to how to try in unison to erase these two demons from our society. And that was actually a film review, talking about the milestone film Fireflies, where not other than our Lydia Millim Dutta. But there are gay, LGBTQ issues coming up there, and that was in 2019 October. I mean, this year October. And from 2018, not 18, yeah, from 2017, Assam Tribune was publishing my comments, several times in 1 year itself. This started, and in 2018 also, they published several, of my LGBT rights. And very fortunately, in 2018 September, GISX was uh, again it was repealed. That section 377 was repealed, and GISX was legalized. And then there are no institutions, organizations coming up. Now I have been working with them, like Hamanai came up, then all of some Transgender Association came up, and I have been associated. I started being associated with them. As well as this Nazari is there. Nazari, although is a general kind of organization promoting education, but it also has link with the promoting LGBT issues too. So this is a kind of small journey, and an academician in every class. Since it's an undergraduate college, I'm a fortunate person, and I know not every gay person is fortunate like or privileged like me. Since it's an undergraduate college dominated by Assamese students, every year we are fortunate to be exposed with thousands of students, more than 1,000 students. And in the class, earlier I facilitated, but in 2015, one of my nephews committed suicide. He was an engineer. It's a consequence of the forced marriage happening out of homophobia and not getting due awareness. And before that, I started working in LGBT issues, but he was not aware of it because he was in Delhi working there. And when he came back to Assam, in my own town, he was forced to marry actually, and marriage was fixed. And just after a few days, he told that he is going to go Delhi, and after coming back, coming back, the marriage will materialize. And then on the way, he committed suicide. And when I went there, I saw his diary, and he was, exposing his same-sex relationship with someone, and his insecurity because his marriage, heterosexual marriage, is fixed. And he was a poet kind of, and he wrote poems and poems up in prose, along with prose. And obviously, he was saying all these things. Then I thought that even if I cannot, save my family member, although he's from a distant, he's a very extended family, then what is the point of becoming an LGBT activist? So I, aired my, LGBTQ status through FB just after that, and in a formal meeting, not meeting, workshop, done by Mind India, uh, uh, president of which is Dr. Sangeeta Goswami. Uh, there, I talk about my homosexual identity, my gay identity, and then just after that, there is a meeting, farewell meeting of our principal, retired principal, and told about my LGBT issues. Thanking him that I got the scope of working there in his tenure itself. And these are the things happening in 2015 as a result of the suicide in my own family. And then I started deciding that I'll be telling about sex education, suicide prevention related to sexuality, all these things in my class itself. So, very carefully I started, telling the HS class, BA class. BA in major, it's very easy to talk about because our courses has linked to, some of our courses has linked to LGBT text or references. But I extended in higher secondary classes as well as in the past course classes also. Still, I'm doing it. Earlier, I thought that college governing body can interfere on it since it was not legal. The homosexuality was not legal. It was my apprehension actually, and then after 2018, it becomes very easy. After this repeal of the section 377 legalizing gay sex, it becomes very easy to talk about because we have law with us to protest. And more than that, what I have done, yeah, and these are the in academic research. Yes, from 2015 itself. Yeah, that also happening after that suicide actually. Then I decided that whatever I have done in MPhil and PhD, I'm not going to do. I have to leave it because two things are very diverse. My area of work in MPhil and PhD, and now in the LGBT issues. And this is new for me also. And then I started, writing a research paper on LGBT issues in the 2015. The first research paper I presented in MNC Girls College in Albury town itself, and that was the first, place where I was appointed, although not in a permanent post. And it was praised by many people. And so far, I have been talking about LGBT issues and their welfare through several research papers, and some of them are published also. And there are several published papers are all there in my FB, which are not published. At least abstracts are there in my FB page. So researchers are getting help from my page also, like Debastuti Sharma, she is working on LGBT issues. Now Kashmira, she was also communicating to me on LGBT issues elaborately, and told me that she is seeing my FB page. There is Slagha Bora working on LGBT issues, and told me that she's helped from my page. And I'm very happy that my FB page that I designed especially for promoting LGBT rights and awareness and research is helpful for the young generations. I'm very privileged to find these comments from them. So this is in nutshell what I have done so far. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I remember you saying that your articles and your letters initially were not accepted by the Assam Tribune. What led to the sudden acceptance? Was it just a change in the law, or was it something else?
Yeah, I yeah, it's a very interesting question. Actually, I want to ask the editor also, because see, homophobia is something like this. Still, we are struggling with, isn't it? Within media, or everybody is a business, isn't it? We have to think about our earning. So, people feel insecure. My coming out, why it became so late? It's almost burst in hostel of CFL. It's just so open-minded, campus. Still, I was vacillated too of coming out. Not only me, not a single reference is there. So, we need more people who are like us to come up. In Assam Tribune, what I felt that they were reluctant of publishing because it's not. They are thinking about their business, because if repeatedly they publish on gay issues at that time in 2013, it may hamper their business. Even the Elton John, who is a gay icon, isn't it? His popularity came down when he came out. So it's like this. And then in 2013, maybe my rights up also not suitable to publish. Also, that angle is also there. But in 2013, when it is recriminalized, not only Neomedi or Sim, yeah, only these two people said against 377, and the editor, not only the other people, even the editor also started favoring us, thinking that 377 is very colonial and to be repealed, and very unconstitutional. And then it was a national issue. It started becoming a national issue, right? Not only the LGBT people, there are from mainstream or the heterosexual people also, they have been also raising the issue. It became a matter of human rights. And then they also started gathering the courage, like I got it, I gathered, and they published it in 2014. Also, they were reluctant. 2015 also they were reluctant to publish several, one or two they published. But 2016 there is a change. Not only me, they published several of my opinions. Not only me, very interestingly, anti-gay comments were not there from 2013 December, as after my intervention. And there are famous journalists like Patricia Mukhim. She supported us through her article. I have the references. I will give people who have interest on this research. Then there is very Indrani Raimedi, the famous Assamese journalist writing in English. She also supported. In all this, she wrote a whole article. Pink is the new black in 2015. It is total support for the gay people. Then Farooq Mehnaz in 2014, he wrote one article, Love in the Time Century. That is the only article coming there supporting gay rights. Then Radhika Bora, who is from Assam Tribune family itself, she wrote on 2018. There are many people who are not many. I mean, there are some people coming up after 2018. This is Radhika Bora's 2018 was towards the last part of 2018 or in the beginning of 2019. I forgot the exact year. So there are other writers also coming up, raising the issues of gay welfare or LGBTQ welfare. And international kind of homophobia, I am protesting, and they are publishing every time. There was a mass killing in America. It was happened in a club, okay, and that I protested, and they published it. And the infamous Donald Trump, he was, just commenting very badly about transgender people, why they are not fit to be in military service because they are they use drug uh, so badly, and that comment came, and I protested against it, and that also came. So several issues have been have had started coming since 2016. Maybe it is the same homophobia and stigma they had to erase, because um, suddenly from not suddenly from 2016, if they can publish several of my ideas, why not before 2016? Because in 2016, from 2016, in Supreme Court, it got the momentum. Court was, to a certain extent, their comments were coming in favor of gay people. Maybe that is, and that is why I think that homophobia and stigma has to go away, and the media has lots of role to be played to play in this particular area. I'll be talking about it after. Yeah,
Did you get a good response from the readers of the papers to your poetry and your comments?
of course. In every seminar paper, wherever I went, I got a lot of praise. I got a lot of praise, and that really endearing. And very famous people also told me that you showed courage, and it's very kind of very new thing, because you started working before repealing of Section 377, and that's very endearing. And after my rights up coming there in Assam Tribune, one of the college, they sent me a letter to keep poems for them. That is in way back in 2016 or 17 itself. And then in Mind India, Dr. Sangita Goswami's institute promoting mental health. That Dr. Sangita Goswami herself, sent me a message, to write a paper on LGBT issues in 2019, yeah, 2019, and I presented that paper, and it was published also in IRA International Journal. It is there in as a FB page. People can also download it. And not only that, there are other people also. It's a formal, that's why I'm telling.
Okay. Do you also write in Assamese, and have you had a favorable response there?
Yeah, in Assamese, I wrote in other topics. In 2013, when I started creative writing, I started through the Dainik Assam, that is under Tribune Group itself. And but obviously, I did not dare to write about LGBT issues. I never imagined, actually, because I was so engrossed with my MPhil PhD. As usual, career struggle. that I didn't never thought that I'll be writing about LGBT issues as such that time. And in the Sentinel also they published my write-ups, but not LGBT issues in 2013, 14, 15. Then there is a break for 10 years. Then from 2013, it's only in English the issues are coming up so far. In Assamese I wrote, but not in LGBT issues, or just one write-up. So far there is a plan of translating, since I know how to write in Assamese, because I came from Assamese media. Uh, and I already started Assamese writings in media. Since I have a plan of translating this my rights up, I am actually expecting a good publisher to come up so that they publish a book of my published work already. My rights up, creative writings as well as my research paper and poems. And then I will translate it in Assamese. That plan is there. But yes, in LGBT issues, I'm not writing anything. I have a regret actually, but I'm trying every time.
Yeah. What are some of the interventions that you have been doing in terms of your own educational institution, the place where you teach, in terms of trying to introduce gender and sexuality to young people?
Uh, See, as a creative writer, I have raised this issue that queer as a subject should be introduced from school onward, and that was published this year itself in the Assembly. Because I feel as an academician, unless and until gender and sexuality is given specifically, uh, giving a few chapters or a chapter on LGBT people, this homophobia and stigma won't be erased. Cannot be, because people have to be sensitized from the childhood itself. As an experiential counselor, almost I feel one after one. I feel when I intervene to the people who are cross 25 or cross 20, because the brain, and these are not the activist kind of people. These are very common kind of Assamese youths from Assam who has not that high kind of education, who are to a certain extent they are already have a notion of getting married to a girl and having a proper kind of life, because support, they think that they will be supportless, they feel insecure, who will thinking about not marrying. uh, but there are good comments also when I intervene. I'm going digressing from my students actually, because students, my former students also belong to this group. Okay, because they have started coming out to me through my FB page, several of them, and they told me that, sir, I might not have married had I met you earlier, um, or had I knew about your orientation and work through FB page earlier. And there are people, among them my former students are there, who are married now, and they are not happy at all. They are not happy at all. Two of them almost cried to me. I mean, cried near me, telling that it's only because of their children they are into the marriage. And this is a forced marriage. It is a very bad thing happening. Not only in the Assam, it was a big issue in the developed countries. Elton John, okay, he was also victim of that false notion, forced marriage. He thought that he loved the girl and married, and after that he knew that even he is not a bisexual. It's all there in my page, his interviews. Even he so thought that earlier that he is a bisexual, and married the girl whom he loved, and after that he declared that he is not a bisexual, he's a gay. See the funny and ironical thing happening to the famous people of developed countries in 80s. And the same thing is happening now in Assam. So what I think that it has to be given from childhood onward through schools, compulsorily should be given in schools, so that forced marriage, that that creates lots of distress to families, not only within one family, it extends to the other families after marriage. For example, Shakuntala, um, yeah, Shakuntala Devi, computer called as the human computer. She wrote the seminal book, The World of Homosexual, out of her own pain, distress of marrying a homosexual man unknowingly. And she expressed that that time itself, it is that Section 377 has to be removed. And after that, when she tried, she struggled a lot actually to continue her marriage, to sustain her marriage. She could not, she had to divorce the person. So, and suicide. There are famous cases of suicide happening out of forced marriage. Why I'm telling, it's not only the concerned gay person or a homosexual person, it extends to the other family also, other person also, the spouse also are having a lot of distress. There's a suicide case happening in AIMS, among the colleagues of AIMS. There is a anesthesia doctor. It happened in 2017, I suppose. That anesthesia lady doctor, she committed suicide, and after exposing the husband's homosexuality, who was also a doctor, it came in the media, in the national media itself. And these are, very well educated, high profile people getting through the distress of forced marriage in India. Then I'm thinking about what would happen these people from the semi-urban uh, place I'm living, and I try to sensitize them personally. And many of the time, what I feel that I fail very badly. They are telling me, sir or dada, how can it be possible? I want to live a free life, but who will take care of the food? Who will take care of the home after my mother is pressurizing me all the time? Yeah, interestingly, this the 5 subjects I took. These are I'm telling about. It came in 2019 paper, that is international paper of well-being, and that is there. You can download. And 5 people who are very, I'm counseling to them. 5 youths actually. All of them are, facing a lot of pressure for marriage, and almost all of them are not mentally healthy. And so in classes, as you are talking about my intervention to students, even just yesterday class, I told about LGBT issues in a higher secondary second year class, because they know that suicide happened in Patsala. Two gay couple committed suicide during lockdown, and they know about these issues, and that is the media role playing. And the only thing they did not know that there are terminologies they may not know. And I was saying that sexuality is a very important feeling, and LGBT people are also normal. Homosexual feeling could be also normal if it exists anyone. So this kind of intervention I'm trying to do every time whenever I get chance. And mental health awareness issues. The 5 subjects I took in 2019 paper, all of them, almost all of them having mental health issues, varied degrees. And three of them are having mental disability. They have left their, struggle to earn money, and they are totally dependent on their fathers, even the pension, even family pension and all that. It feels so bad. You don't see, they look very healthy. They go to the gym or they play, but inside there is a vacuum. There is very insecure all the time. There are lots of sighs. They pass when they come to my place, and they talk about their issues. And this is why I think the sex education is also needed to be given in the classroom itself from childhood onward. And see, India is a very large and overpopulated country, and it's a developing country. It's a poor to a certain, it's a poor country. In this country, if we have to make awareness, it's impossible. It's impossible to create awareness through incomplete awareness or effective awareness through only NGO work, through my personal endeavor. It does not reach to all. what I feel, if the queer as a subject is introduced from school, mental health awareness is introduced there, because lots of LGBTQ people are having mental health issues, and sex education, everything, if it comes compulsorily from school onward till the university days, ultimately it will create awareness to the guardian level in longer future maybe, and that is very needed. And personally, I have been always promoting it through Facebook, through my WhatsApp communication, and through my personal communication also. I have been communicating to LGBTQ people, but awareness is very less. Effective awareness is very less in them. Although I try hard, it's not possible sometimes. Only we people like who are exposed to the city life, or the well-to-do institutes. Very few people are there, and so there are lots of needs we have. That is, I'm talking about the academic level needs, my topic, and then social level needs. We need more acceptance in the society, more inclusiveness, so that guardians are becomes also aware. Judicial level, we need. Should I talk about it, or Kiran, or afterward? The needs of for
You
the
can please go ahead.
yeah, because these are connected. Then judicial level, we need it's because of the judiciary we are in this particular stage. LGBT people are at this particular stage, communicating like directly like this. So judicial level, we need more from them, especially legalizing the gay marriage. Now the case is going on in Kerala High Court. What would happen? High Court is in favor of the gay marriage, it seems, but the Union government as a whole is not favoring the gay marriage. And suppose it has given the verdict, Kerala High Court has given the verdict of gay marriage. What would happen? The bunch of petitions will fall in the Supreme Court opposing that, and it will take years and years. So what I feel that judicial level gay marriage will happen, and will be sooner, if in every high court, uh, activists like people file a case seeking gay marriage, so that when it goes to the Supreme Court for review or for repealing, that gets lots of references. And legislative level, we need more. We have some legislators, thankfully, in India, who are supporting us, like Shashi Tharoor, and there is Rajiv Chandrasekhar. They are putting forward gay issues through their bills. Um, and bills has to be passed in parliament for the welfare of the LGBT people, and we need reservation. Suppose gay marriage becomes legalized in India, it would happen after few years, after maybe some years. Then we need reservation for the people who get married formally. And transgender people need reservation as a whole, actually, in government schemes for their benefit, as well as married transgender people. Um, in general, they need a lot of support. So in legislative level, these are only the bills. If they pass the bill, then only it will happen. Media level, we need more inclusiveness in media. Like in Assam Tribune now, from the reluctance, they are publishing my opinions and other opinions as well. And in entertainment media, like in Assam, films are not that strong as an industry, but please, mobile theater is a very strong industry in Assam. It reaches to common masses more than films actually. And what I feel in plays, so far no play is plays written, within with the angle of homosexual people or the same-sex relations. So what I feel, the playwrights as well as the producer, they have to think about this issue, so that LGBT issues are promoted. Their issues have surface in the plays also. Cinemas, only the transgender issue is focused through millions fireflies, very positive way, and we need more assamese films on gay people's issues, real issues, and LGBT lesbian issues to come up. Um, then organizational level, we have lots of need actually. What I noticed working uh, um, for Millions Anazuri and some Hamanai and this all Assam Transgender Association. We have very few actually formal organizations. We don't have many formal organizations, and there is very less coordination. When Millions film review came, I immediately communicated to president of this all Assam Transgender Association, Swati Vidhan Bora, and she, replied to me that she already refused to accept that film. And I saw that video and all these things, and they objected that film, saying that it's a gay person becoming a transgender. So it's this kind of disharmony. Whether the story is not that strong or not, it was representing a very vital issue. We know everybody that as gay people are hiding, there are transgender women hiding in the guise of gay people. I have even one of my closest friends. I cannot say her name. She likes to be women. When she came in my car with me, she was dressed up with all the beauty of a woman. Okay, but she has to lie about her dress and all these things to the security person of her flat apartment. And in the club, in the Glow Club, she was dancing, acting, all these things she was doing as a woman because she was dressed up like this. But in a common setup, and in her home also, she was dressing like a woman. But in common public, always she was dressed up like a male. Now I don't know, but earlier it was like this. So it is a gay person. I mean, it's a transgender woman who was, out of homophobia of the society. She was, she was becoming a he. So it's a very common kind of thing happening. But all of some transgender associations still, despite this fact, they opposed Million Dutt's film, and this is very unfortunate. It shouldn't happen. It is happening because there is very less kind of coordination. That other day, I was telling that Kashmira to tell you, Kashmira, please bring this person, this lady Swati Vidhan Borwa, to the floor of this, because her contribution is very pivotal. And I wrote about her contribution in Assam Tribune also for the transgender people. And it was published. And she knows about it. And there is an organization, uh, uh, there is a state transgender people welfare organization, um, a committee, I suppose. Yeah, it's a committee, and that committee does not have a male, I mean, transgender man. I was telling that Milind Datta should be included through Assam Tribune, but they did not publish it. I don't know why, and that is why I'm telling it that media has to be more inclusive about this issue. If it is a transgender welfare committee, state committee, it must have a male, transgender male also, like Milind Datta, isn't it? Uh, So these are media level as well as organization level. We need work to be done, and organization has to work for parental awareness, because parents has to be made aware. I personally, trying to made aware of several parents whom I'm fortunate to be getting my own as well as others. And there are underground virtual organizations like Glow. They are coming up at the same time, and there is they need to be registered. Unless and until we have more formal organizations, we cannot put pressure to the government. And that idea came to the Assam Tribune, thankfully. And yeah, I have the yeah organization has to has to help, has to facilitate the high court cases seeking gay marriage. they has to do it also from their angle also. Now the individual level, I have been as an individual of this community, I have been working, and I hope that more people will come up. We need come out like me and work for the capacity. I'm talking about those people who are financially independent like me, because we need more references. When I grew as a youth, I did not have any reference in my locality. So now I find people, youths, who are financially independent, that they are saying that, sir, I never saw a person like me, and this is for the first time I saw a person like you, and it inspired. That he did not tell me, but he was having a relationship with another homosexual person, and it is going through. Although, and he's keeping aside to a certain extent the pressure of getting married so far. Uh, and The youth has to be individual level. They have to try for the financial independence, and after financial independence only we can work for this community as individual level as well as societal level. Otherwise, if you are dependent, it's not possible. Then, talking about and taking care of mental and physical health, what I noticed in the youths, and it's obviously because it affected me also. Majority of them are mentally not healthy, and a person, when he is not mentally healthy, he cannot be physically healthy also. And that awareness has to be given from childhood, and parents has to make it. There must be a gay person or LGBTQ person in the family, extended family, who can who can make children of this community aware of the needs, because afterwards it's so difficult to make people aware about mental health and uh, even physical health if it does not come from childhood. uh, and that will obviously reduce the suicide problems, not only the LGBTQ youths, youths in general. And then only they will create community, because in what the stages, it's a desire stage that a person, LGBTQ person, goes through. It's a very long stage, and after that uh, they will accept their identity, and that also a very long stage. Suicide happens at that time. And then afterwards, when it is settled, everything is settled, they go to the identity stage. And identity stage, people start creating community. So as a experiential counselor, what I feel that youths, my students as well as other youths with whom I encounter or whom I meet sometime, um, that it needs to be the awareness should be created, so that they find comfortable crossing the acceptance stage and entering their identity stage. But it's a very difficult, challenging task. Maybe as an organization, all organization has to look forward to this particular idea, so that people comes to the identity stage, because then only forced marriage, the pressure of forced marriage has to be which can be withstood by that particular person. Then activists like couples, they have to file case individually in high court seeking gay rights, especially gay marriage. That will help reducing stigma, discrimination, and homophobia, and that is a needed thing. And recreational center, we need skill development center, rehabilitation center. We need. Are you hearing me, Kiran? Yes. And there is a very I think it's a good idea, because other people praise me for this. Time and again, it is coming to me as an activist. See, me, Milindatta, like Mayuri, and this Balal, we are coming up and working for this very openly for this community. And now, what would happen to them when they get old? Okay, the dignity what I have been sensing through my work, my self-reliance, okay, don't be there when we enter the old age. So we need old age home, uh, specifically for LGBTQ people. So we have to think really seriously about it. Apart from recreation center, skill development center, rehabilitation center, people like Milinda, Mayuri, Shibalal, put forward this idea that we should work, and of course Swati, we should work in coordination so that at least one old age home comes up here, apart from a formal organization. Not only Guwahati, every city, every town needs organization, and merging to the main organization. We need everything formal. There is a formal kind of yearly meeting. It has to be there, and then that should come to the put forward to the government. All these things should happen. Then only effective pressure can be put to the government, because government is not completely supporting us. See, in as the verdict of Supreme Court in 2018, in every institute, every government institute, awareness programs, okay, to create sensitization. But it's not happening in my college itself. I'm not, I cannot hold a particular program of creating awareness, although it is in the pipeline before the lockdown and lockdown warning. But I haven't seen it happening in major way. It has to happen because people are violating the Supreme Court guidelines. Because why it is happening? Because government is not supportive. So it should come to the judicial level again, so that they put forward, that they put pressure to the government, so that their recommendations are actually by the or implemented. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we'll have to wrap it up now. So if the audience has any questions, you may actually unmute yourself, or you may type your questions in the chat box. So
Should
any,
I unmute?
yeah, that's fine. Any responses or questions for the speaker? Milind, do you want to start? Would you like to say anything?
Thank you, Mukul, for joining today. And
Thank you,
was
Millie.
listening how many times you had used my name today.
Yeah,
And,
you are major inspiration in my life, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. But I also saw that you are also giving me so much of work that millions should do this and millions should do that. I'm like, am I not already doing as much as I could? I think there should be many other people who should step up and do.
You are the pioneer, isn't it?
Sorry?
So pioneer people has more responsibilities.
But we cannot do everything. So others also have to step in. And I also wanted to make sure that you know that I have attended a couple of meetings for trans council. All right. But there's all this politics. There are politics, and they stop inviting us. And the trans board only and all Assam Trans Association only have Hijra community, and not that many trans men, and also gender neutral people. I never got invited, and and they were also removed. So unless people within the transgender community do community upliftment instead of doing self upliftment, and we cannot promote some people who are not 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 doing covering all community, so through Anazuri also we are being selecting people who we feel that they are doing community upliftment, right? So and I wish that our trans community is more what do you call, talking about things, and more um, what do you call, understand each other, and not just um, because LGBT community, within LGBT community, trans is minority, right? And
Yes,
within
exactly.
trans community, trans men are minority.
Minor.
So it's all relative, you
Yes,
know.
very much.
And power is very wrong. Power could
Yes,
really make a person uh, corrupt or bad, you know, when you have power, right? So
yeah,
I don't want to name anybody, but I just wanted to make sure that there are lots of politics also going on,
yeah,
and
yeah.
so just wanted to mention about that.
Mm.
I think you have covered many aspects, and I think next time we have to be more little bit focused in certain areas so that we can go in depth in certain areas, right?
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you are writing so many articles, and you know, writing about LGBTQ, which is great, and we need authors like you, and keep on writing, and hopefully there will be many more who will be joining you in the future.
Thank you, Milan, for the nice words. And really, we need to work in unison so that in the first formal community, I mean, organization like All Assam Transgender Association include, because they have used the Transgender Association. They include male member, transgender man member like you, and in the government also has to work on this. I think my my ideas will put forward today to them, both of them.
Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments from the audience? Anyone else? Any further comments? Okay, so if there are no other further questions, thank you very much, Mukul. Thank you for
Yeah,
being here.
just one thing.
Yes.
Kiran, you wanted to ask me a lot of things actually, because these are the things I was a little bit not properly saying all these things. Do you have some one particular pivotal question to me? What you wanted to ask actually? I interfered there and started talking about my
No, but I think
presentation.
I think you already anticipated many of my questions.
Okay,
So you spoke at quite great length. So thank you.
thank you, Kiran.
Yeah, thank you very
Thank
much.
you all. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you all. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you.